Hello, friends. It's Joni here at Joni's Journals. How is everyone? It is New Year's Eve today. You probably won't see this video until New Year's Day. So, Happy New Year. What we are going to do today, and I have to preface this by saying that I watched a video by Annette Green. She is a designer for Elizabeth Craft Designs. And she made a journal, and she used a die, which I don't own yet. And it's called Coffee Time. And she made the cutest little journal. The original one she made was just, I guess, I don't really remember if it had a theme to it, but she made one for Valentine's Day. And so I followed along with her tutorial on how she made hers. And I said, I'd really like to do something like that, but I don't own that die. And I searched through all of my dies, and I couldn't find a cup that would suffice to do one like that. And besides the fact that you guys know that I like to make things that you can all make. So what I did was I designed a circle journal. And you can make your circles using a die. I used my, oh gosh, what are they called? Nested Circles die from scrapbook.com, and I'll link it in the description box below. For me, it's a relatively old die, but I know they have so many nested dies. I'm sure you could find this if you're a die cutter and you'd like to do it. I used the largest circle, which is a 4-inch circle. And I also used my 3.5-inch, I thought it was Fiskars. It's, let me turn it around so it's facing the right way. It's a Recollections punch. You've seen me use this before several times for different homemade specimen dies. I do have a video. Oh gosh, I don't remember when it's from, but if I remember, I'll link it in the description box below. We made specimen dies. I think it might have been last Christmas or the Christmas before. I'm not really sure. But you don't need either of those things. You definitely don't need a circle die. You can use a cup or a bowl and trace out a circle. So yeah, I figured that this would be an easier one for everyone to make. And it's really simple if you don't have that punch either, to just draw out, use your ruler, which I can't get a hold of mine. Just use your ruler and measure out 3.5-inch squares. So yeah, I'm going to show you mine, and then we're gonna put one together. So what I used was, oh gosh, I put it over here. Oh, that's the other thing I have to show you. I'll show you that in a second. These are little ephemera packs, and I know they're gonna glare. I should have probably taken, oh, well, that's not too bad. These are ephemera packs from All and Create. If you know, I've used their dies before, and yeah, I was searching through this, and I thought that this one was pretty fun and funky. It's just, it's called Fungal Trips, Fungal, and it's a series of mushrooms and packed bags. What I'm calling mine, and I have to look on here, is the Mystic Mushroom Mix Journal, because that's what you can't see, but that's what those tiny little words say here. And so what I did was I used those ephemera pieces, and I incorporated some of the Tim Holtz paper dolls, and I made it sort of like a scientific journal for these gentlemen who are out exploring and trying to find different kinds of mushrooms in the wild. And so they make a way to shrink the mushroom down into little pills. so that you can, and I'm going to be nice about this because you could probably take this a wrong way of making them into pills. You can take these little pills and put them in the water like so, and out will spring your your mystical mushroom mix. So yeah, I haven't really finished this one yet. I want to add some of the, oh gosh, now I can't remember what they're called, but the little labels, you'll see. And kind of make it like an experimental, like they went out and they did all these experiments in the woods, and you can see them there all with their packed bags and such. So yeah, I know it's probably really silly, but I wanted to use this ephemera and I was like, let's just do it, okay? So that's the first one that I created. And I am going to show you how I did it using my dies and my punch. But again, you can do it using a cup or a bowl. You can trace around it and just draw out little 3-inch squares. I mean, it'll take a little bit longer, but to punch out all of those circles, and I'll show you how I constructed them. They are 3 layers thick. I know you're probably not going to be able to see that. So yeah, it took me a few hours to create everything that I needed to create the journal. But once it was all done, the journal went together really easy, and I'll show you how we did that. The one thing I wanted to do before I started that, I promised a walkthrough of these. These were the tag, what did I call them? The tag folio flip flap. And I just wanted to show you that I had finished decorating them. And I've just added little bits of ephemera. You can see here and here and here and here. I just added tiny little bits of ephemera to the finished journal, to the finished folio. But I wanted to let you see what I had done. I didn't really do too much on that page, did I? I was running out of ephemera. And this one I left as is because it has this pretty little spray up here in the corner. I just added a little heart, a little acorn that I actually, not an acorn, a pine cone that I actually cut out of a leftover scrap. And then I have this little catching snowflakes all bundled up. I haven't done anything here yet, but I'll probably add a plain card to it and then do anything to the back. And then, whoops, oh, I just untied it. It got stuck. Okay, I'm not going to worry. I did finish decorating the file folder flip journal, and I ended up using Velcro. I thought it was the best way to do it. But you can see I added some of these pieces here, the little spray. And I think we did some of this together. I added Woodsy Winter, keeping cozy with the mittens and the ice skates. And then I just added some snowflakes here. And I tucked in some little pieces of ephemera. You saw the journal. And I think you also saw this. And all that I added here were the little stars on it. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that I kept my promise and showed you what I had finished up on this. Okay, that's said and done, and I don't need to worry about that. Now, we are going to be making a circle journal. You can see I've already completed 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of it so far, and I have begun. Also, I put together 2 more of the circles. I left the little square punches to the side because I want to show you how to do the holes. But first, I'm going to show you how everything was constructed so that you can make one on your own. Now, these are the 3 pieces that I've cut out from the 3.5-inch punch. And I've already inked around the edges of all of the pieces so that you just have to see how I construct it. This is the circle. And again, I cut out 3 pieces. I wanted it to be sturdy. And so I felt like that this just wasn't thick enough for me. So I took 2 pieces of this because, of course, I wanted to show on the front and the back. And I punched out, I die cut some circles out of craft cardstock. And then all I'm simply going to do, and I do have to just let you know something before I show you how to put it together. If in the event you do what I did and you use a directional piece of paper, you're going to have to be a little bit aware of how you construct it if you care that, like for this instance, this is writing on here. If you want to make sure that it's straight, it takes a little bit more of putting the two pieces together, because I went nuts and I had to actually play with both of the ones that I used that were directional just to make everything straight. I'm a little OCD. You may not be. But let's put together our circle first. And as I said, I inked all of the edges. And on the backs of most of these, the Tim Holtz one and the mushroom one, I put the plain paper on the back, or the plainer paper, the lighter colored paper, so that if you actually wanted to use this as a journal, instead of just perhaps filling the whole thing with ephemera and making it more of an art book, use a lighter color on the back. And that's what I did with this one as well. Well, with exception to the rule, and I'll explain what I did here later. But the backs of most of these, like this, you can actually write on them. Okay. And so, yeah, because they're a lighter color paper. So if you're using different color cardstock, and if you're using one like I did where the back is a little bit plain, when you construct it, I constructed mine with a printed paper on the front and with a plainer one to stay on the back. Okay, so all I'm simply doing, and this is just, again, going to be one of those watching paint dry kind of parts of the video. You can skip ahead if you want to, although the video seems to be, well, we're only at 12 minutes, so I hope you're not bored already. Important, when you put a bead of glue, go as close to the edge of your circle as you can, because you don't want it to peel apart while you're decorating it, or if you're using it as an art piece that you want to view or leave on your coffee table for others to enjoy. You don't want your pages to start peeling apart. So I just put a little bit of, well, I can't get a hold of these. I purchased a new mat from Amazon because I got some Amazon gift cards for Christmas, and I did purchase a new mat, but I just haven't opened it yet, and I didn't want to get it gluey on its first day. And then you just simply glue your circles together. As I said, I made mine 3 layers. I believe that most of Annette's were also 3 layers. I think it was dependent upon, she used a variety of cardstocks to construct her little coffee cup journal. And so, yeah, she, I think she triple layered most of them, because some of the cardstock she used, again, was not sturdy enough in her eyes to be a page alone without adding another layer to it. So very simple. That's how you glue your circle together. And again, I told you that this is like paint drying, but I just wanted to construct at least a part of it so that you could see how it goes together. And I had left 3 that I was going to construct with you, and I was like, no way, Joni. They're going to fall asleep by the time, or sign off by the time you get all of this together. Okay, and then same thing with your little squares, for which are your, I guess you could call it a binding. They're a binding on your journal. And the one thing, I have done a few of them off center, with edges hanging off. There was only one that I actually trimmed because it was very noticeable, but it doesn't really matter much if you go, if you don't get your circle completely on. Of course, you want to get it as close to being even on all sides, but if you just make a little miss, And I've missed on a few of them. Like I said, I only went back and corrected one because it was just way too obvious and I couldn't leave it like that. So you can see what I did was I made one side of my circle with the pattern, because we'll put our papers together like that so the pattern continues onto your spine. And I made the one side with the plain. All right, now comes the fun part. Grab your pencil and your ruler. And what I did was I originally punched holes in my first one, the first one that I put together. You can see here I punched holes. And yes, it's a boo-boo and it's on the back page, but I'm not really too concerned about it. If I want, I can cover it with a piece of ephemera, or I can leave it there and say, don't do that again. So I punched my original one and I punched all the holes in the wrong place. What made me think that I could just get them even by eyeing it? I don't know. So what I did with that one, again, was I said, you know what? Let's see how much... why is this? You know, it's so funny. It says it's a 3.5 inch. Yeah, it says it's a 3.5 inch punch, but it's only 2 3/8 inches wide. I don't know. I've never thought about it. Anyway, what I did was, after my boo-boo, I sat down and I said, let's see, how can I make this even? So, of course, when I do that, I usually use my calculator and divide and then figure it out. And if I can't figure it out, I go get my husband. He's a carpenter. Everything that he does has to be exact, so he knows how to measure. But what I did was I counted out my eighths lines on my ruler, and then I divided them in 3. So on this, my 3 holes were punched at 3/8 of an inch, 1 1/4 inches. You can see it's off just a smidge. And then 2, it's 2 3/8. Okay, I knew I had, no, it's 2 1/8. So it's, let me say it again, it's 3/8, 1 1/4 inches, and 2 1/8 inches. Okay, yes. All right. So that's how I measured out where I was going to punch my holes. And I kept one of these as my, what do you call it? My prototype, I guess is a good word for it. And I took all of my squares. And what I did was, once I had punched the original holes, and again, this is probably very simple for someone who knows how to do this kind of stuff to understand. But for those of you that are new to doing any of this, and hello to my new subscribers, by the way, I then took and I just went and I used it as a stencil. That's the word I should have had, not prototype. And I made pencil marks through the original set of holes, like so. I'm hoping you can see that. And then I took my crocodile. You can use a hole punch. I find that the accuracy of my crocodile makes it a little bit easier. You push this little thing here up or down to wherever you want your measurement to stay at, and it helps with the accuracy. And then you're not going to be able to see this, I know that. And then I went in and I just punched my holes. Okay, very simple, very easy, very quick. Okay, and I am going to do that on my other piece. And there we go. And our holes all match up. Okay, I'm going to take this original one, because this one might be off just a little. And I find that if you make a stencil or a prototype for yourself, always use this one to do the repetitive stuff, because this one may be off just a smidge and it may not look like it, but you'll find that if you go and you use, okay, well, I use this one for this one, I'll just use this one for the next one. Everything could be off just a hair, and it will make enough difference to put your whole whatever you're making. I've done it on art projects. I've done it on crocheting things. That little space can just throw your whole thing out of whack. So always use your original to measure with, or to whatever you're doing. Use your original. So I'm now going to take this one, and I am going to take, and I'm going to measure out the holes for the one that we just created, and I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to push down really hard, okay? And then I'm just going to go in again, and I'm going to color in my little pencil holes. Can you see what I'm doing? Yes, you can. It's a gloomy kind of New Year. Well, actually, the sun's out, but it's cloudy. I don't know how to explain it. Here in Florida, it could be sunny, all fired up and going, and it could be pouring rain. So it's sunny, but cloudy. I don't know how to explain it. I guess partly sunny. Yeah, duh, Joni. That would be the one. Okay. And then I'm just going to go in again. I'm going to look through the little hole in my crocodile, which you absolutely cannot see. And I'm just going to punch out my holes. Okay. All right. Now, and this is the important part. In order to keep your journal aligned, you are going to want to, again, make one prototype page and follow your measurements on that page so that everything stays the same, okay? I think what I will do is, I don't know if I want to do that one with you. And this one's not much better because there's writing on here too. Okay, what we're going to do is we are going to take one of our original pages, and I am just going to pull it out of the journal. You can see I used a 3-ring. I used 3-ring binder hooks on here. And I'm just going to take it and I'm going to pull out my page. Okay. And yeah, come on. There we go. I don't want you guys to see because there's a little bit more to this that I don't want you guys to see yet. Okay. And I'm going to take this. Okay. And this is, like I said, my original page. I'm going to lay it down. And I have this mat which has grid lines on it. You can use a T ruler. You can use whatever. You can not be that concerned and just eyeball it. And I'm going to take and I'm going to lay my little square piece over this page. Okay, I need to pull it a little bit closer. And I'm going to make sure that my holes line up with each other. Okay, I don't know if you can really see that too well. Maybe if I move it down a little. Okay. You can see my holes are lining up evenly. Then I'm going to take my circle and I'm going to hold this part tight with my fingers, and I'm going to lay my circle on top of the other circle and just check and make sure that it's even. Okay? I'm going to grab my pencil and I'm going to make a mark on here. I'm going to follow that line and I'm going to make a pencil mark. Okay? That way I know that that is how far over my circle is going to go onto my tab or my binder. Not my binder. My binding. And you can see now you have this circle. Now I'm going to grab 2 of these little clips. Okay? And I'm going to take my circle, and I'm going to be anal with this one because I want it to be straight. I want that writing to be straight with the other writing that's on the other thing. And it's probably off by a little. If I want to fuss, I think it goes better that way. Now you're going to hold this together, okay? You're going to line your circle up with that pencil mark that you made. And take your little clips and clip it together. Okay. All right. Turn it over. Now you can see this paper is not lining up with this paper, and that's going to drive me crazy. So what I think I might do is I might alter this, because you see this one, I used 2 different papers. And actually on the back of this one, this paper is the same as this paper. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over. And I am going to, how am I going to do this? Maybe I'll make this the front page. No, because then I want to leave the space on there to write. All right, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to have a fit that it doesn't line up right, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. Anyway, oh, this is going to really make me a little OCD. Okay, I'll just cover this page. All right. So what you do, and back to not being so anal, all right, we have it lined up on our pencil mark, and we could actually scoot it over a smidge more. All right, make sure that it's at least straight on the front, okay? So we line up our circle with our pencil mark. You can see it there. Turn it over once you've clipped it together. Now you're going to take your pencil again, and you're going to make a mark back here on the edge of your tab. Okay, you're going to make a nice pencil mark over on this side, and then a little one on each side here, like so, so that you know where your tab glues onto. You guys know I'm going to end up covering up most of this page. All right, and so now you have a little pencil mark on here, or at least a diagram of where your tab goes. So I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to follow that pencil mark all the way across and around, like so, and like so again. And I'm going to make sure there's plenty of glue. Then I'm going to grab my tab and I'm going to rely on lining it up with those pencil marks, okay? I'm holding it up in the air so you guys can see. And I'm just have enough time with the PVA glue to make sure that I'm lining it up correctly. Now, while it's still wet, I'm going to check and make sure in the front that my circle line is also lined up, okay? And then I'm just going to adjust it just a smidge because I see that it's not lined up perfectly with the pencil lines, and push down. And there you have your page, okay? I'll do one more with you, and I'm not going to do this one because, again, I don't think my grid lines are going to line up. But I'm going to do one more with you, and then I'm going to show you what else we've been doing, okay? Here's, again, my original page. And I'm just scooting up in my chair. And I'm going to take and I'm going to line up the holes in this tab with the holes on this one again. All right. And like I said, they're probably off by a smidge. And that's why you always use your original as your stencil for doing the rest of these. Okay. So I'm holding this side down and I'm going to take my circle and I'm going to line it up, okay, with the other circle and make sure that they match side to side, top to bottom. And again, we're going to do our pencil mark like so. Okay. You can see we have our pencil mark. And this one is non-directional, although I do want this little what do you call it, decaying part to show. So I'm going to line up my circle, make sure that the area that I want to be showing on the back is showing. Line up your pencil mark. I've said that probably about 5 times already. Take your little clips, clip them down so that they're nice and secure. Turn it over, grab your pencil and trace a line around the outside of your tab. Over there, a little line on this side and a little line on that side so you can accurately glue your page together. Okay, and again, we have our pencil lines. I'm going to grab my glue like so, and I'm going to glue my tab to my page. And I do put a generous amount, Number 1, so that I know that it will stay stuck. Number 2, so that it gives me the playtime I need to make sure that everything is lined up correctly and evenly. You can see we're meeting our line on the front and we're meeting our lines on the back. And that's another page completed. So we've done 2 pages together. I'm going to go and I'm going to do this page. And then I think we have enough time to do some decorating. Okay? I will be right back. You guys hang tight. It'll be faster for you than for me. And I'll see you in a bit. Okay, guys, I came back just because I wanted to show you. I felt bad not showing you how to measure these up. You can see I've already made my little semicircle here to line my circle up with the tab. And what I'm doing now, and I'm going to show you, is because I want at least the front of my page to line up correctly, I'm just taking and I'm lining my words up so that even though they don't make sense together, they are at least going in the same direction. And I can tell that I'm off by a little, and I'm just going to turn my little page so that it's straight. Okay, now I'm going to show you again, this back side is not accurate. I'm going to grab my clips and I'm going to check again to make sure that everything is pretty straight. I'm going to grab my clips and I'm going to clip it together. And I'm going to go and I'm going to finish it up and I'll be right back again. Okay, I am back. And what we're going to do now, you can see that I have begun decorating this, and this is going to become a little Tim Holtz art journal. Again, I'm leaving the backs of the pages with the more writable pages. You know, the page with the side that you can actually write on is what I mean to say. But I have begun to decorate. So what you want to do is once you have your journal all put together, you just, you're going to go through and see how you want to lay yours out. And I decided that, again, this was another directional page, and this was actually easy to put together. It was just lining up the stripes. But I want her and my favorite color, purple, to be the front page. So this, again, is really probably just baby stuff for most of you. Excuse me. But on your binder ring, it has the little hinge. I try to make sure that my hinge is at the back when I make my binder journals so that I can flip my pages without any interference. So when I put mine together, I'm going to start from the back. And this is the one I've chosen to be my back page. This way nobody has to look at my error. And you just start constructing it, okay? I'm just going to show you real quick how I do the first ring. And I will finish up the next 2 rings without you. And when I'm done with it, I will come back and I will show you the finished journal, the finished construction of the journal, and then maybe we'll do a couple of pages together. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. I was going to show you what I've done so far and bring you along to finish a page and also construct a page. You can see that I like to put a lot of little bits of ephemera on here. And so what I do is I lay my big pieces down onto the page, and then I kind of tuck stuff in behind to see what I would like behind my main subject of my page. And so you can see I just have little things tucked in here. And I thought we could finish the page that has this little girl on it. Excuse me. And then maybe do a page from scratch together, or 2. I'll show you something else after. So this is how I lay out my page. Okay, I've chosen Maybe I should bring you down just a smidge and see if that'll help. Okay, I think you can see a little bit better now what I've done. Let me just get some of this out of the way, and we'll do this together. Okay, I go about picking out my main pieces, and in this case, I liked this little girl, and I believe she's a paper doll from Tim's the group, paper dolls group called The Poses. And this is from the, we were using this set to do a Tim Holtz color block journal, which I want to finish. And I'm going to see if I can get a video in today about for it, maybe finishing up a couple of pages. This piece comes from Tim Holtz Ephemera Kit Layers. It's called Organic. All right. And so you can see here that I've already laid out some of the little snippets and some number strips and stuff. And the way I did that, like I said, was I laid down the little girl and the flowers, and I decided where I wanted to position her and the flowers. And I always kind of make sure that my paper dolls are interacting with whatever the other object is that's on the page with them, because let's face it, some of these things that we construct are a little bit ridiculous, okay? Would she actually be sitting on a flower? No. But in my mind, maybe she's a fairy. And I can't say I believe in fairies, but I like to believe in fairies. And fairies could sit on flowers. So maybe she's a fairy with her wings tucked behind her. But really, would all of this stuff be behind them? No. So, but I always want to make sure that the paper doll, when I use it, or whatever other piece might not go with the other, interacts with whatever's with it, okay? So I take and I lay down. This is turning into a Tim Holtz ephemera lesson, which I didn't really mean for it to be. I lay down my flower, and I lay down my girl. And I want her to look like she's standing, leaning on the leaf of the flower. And then I will just kind of position them so that I have room to add the little things. And then as they're standing here, and I really want her to be leaning on that leaf, and she is, I make sure that they fit on the page, and then I take the little bits and I tuck them behind them. And when I get a little bit anal, I will take and I will make a little pencil mark so that I can find a spot where my pieces should go back to, like I'm doing right here. I'm making a little mark on the side of her foot and under her foot. And this way I know where she belongs. And I made a tiny little pencil line so that I could match up my flowers to the pencil line. Okay, so I just figured we could put this page together. And I know that those of you that are already not interested in what we're doing have signed off. So that's okay. All right, I'm going to pick this up because I can't really see the pencil line that I made. And I'm going to lay this down onto my page. There we go. And it was important to me to make sure that the February was showing because I was thinking Valentine's Day. And these are pretty red flowers. So I wanted to be sure that the part that said February would show. And I also wanted to look like she is leaning on this leaf here. And she is, okay. And so we're just going to pull her down. I don't care that I can't see 5 o'clock anymore. I'm going to pull her down and maybe a little bit over. Maybe not. And I'm going to glue her down so that she looks like she's resting on the leaf, okay? And what I do, I have gotten less bothered by the fact that some of my paper dolls may reflect when I'm using them, because they don't reflect all the time. They only reflect when the light is, when the light is shining right on them. So I've become less wary about adding stuff to them. You can put a layer of collage medium over them, and that will make them a little bit less shiny. but it doesn't take away the complete shine. So I tend not to really do that anymore. So there is our little completed page, okay? And what I thought we would do, and now this is just to show you that I actually do lay these things out. I laid out my next page that we're going to do, and I fiddled and I fussed and I figured out where I wanted to put everything, and I made a picture of it because I wanted to be able to reconstruct it with you because I thought it came out pretty cool, okay? So what we're going to do, and actually I may not do this one. I may do this one. She is actually going to be the last page in the journal, and the picture's fuzzy, but I don't care because I can see what I did. All right, so we're finished with this pretty little girl, and I'm just pushing down to make sure that all of the areas are stuck down. And we're going to flip to our very last page. Don't look at that. And don't look at that. We're going to flip to our very last page, and we are going to put together this page, okay? This little girl here. And then I wanted to try using some of the Tim Holtz portrait heads. So I have one that will go together quick and easy as well. Once you lay them out and you pick out your ephemera, like I said, you can either take a picture with your phone if you don't have a phone, or if you prefer not to do that, make a picture in your mind. And you can recreate what you've done, or just as you're doing it, make a little pencil mark, and all will be good. Okay? So this little girl looked to me like she was very studious, standing there very prim and proper, holding her hands together. And so that I thought that an ABC, I forgot what they're called, and a little naturalist traveler's companion, pieces of ephemera, might work for her. And so I just simply laid them down on the page like so. And again, I want to make sure that different parts of it are showing. And again, is she ever going to be standing next to a mushroom this big? Probably not. But she can. And so I'm just going to put my little mushrooms here. And I'm going to, oh, what is the word for this? The ABC thing. I can't think of what it's called. I'm just going to play and position both of these pieces so that they're kind of available to be seen. Her ABC, oh my goodness gracious, I can't remember what it's called. And then we're going to take her and we're going to stand her on here like so. And I'm going to move this stuff over because I kind of want everything to be touching. And so that works very nicely. Okay. Oops. And then I'm just going to I'm going to move this up, move the mushrooms over a bit. And I'm going to take her, I'm going to move them back up. I want to kind of be centered on the page. And I'm going to put her right here like so. And I'm going to glue these flowers down behind her like so. I'm going to tuck these in on the side. And so you can see how everything is touching, but it kind of works, okay? I'm going to go and I'm going to glue that stuff together so you don't have to watch that part. And I'll be back because I really would like to do another page with you, and I don't want to take too long. All right, I'll be back in a second. Okay, I've finished that little page, and thank you to whomever of you sent me the words telepathically. It's an ABC primer. At least I'm pretty sure that that's what it's called. Now, we finished that page, and you can see that while you were gone, I took one of my pages out. Because I wanted to show you that you are able to use a larger bit on your page. And I'm pulling these out. You can see I've already prepared some other items. And what I'll do is I will put those pages together without you because I don't want to keep you hanging here doing something you may not be interested in. So what I have is as I said before, one of the Tim Holtz portrait heads. And yes, she's a little bit bigger than she should be if we want to include her on our page. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I add the ephemera for her. And I do like her with this little dragonfly. And I'm going to position her right where I want her. And I'm going to pull her down just a little until I have our pretty lady. And I am going to tuck in some of these leaves. This is how I measure out where I want to put things. And I'm going to tuck that in here, like so, behind her head, so that just the leaves and not the stem are sticking out. All right. And there we go. There's our page. Now I am going to try and tilt or bring the dragonfly a little bit down a little bit better. And so that is what our page will look like. I'm going to go and I'm going to glue everything down. And then when I come back, I'll show you how we can fix it. Okay? Okay. We're back and I've constructed the page. Now again, this might be a little bit too simple for some of you, but you can see I have her and all the other little pieces behind her. Now, what I've done in this case, because there are some empty areas where I might want to tuck something in, when I put glue on her, I only put glue towards the center so that those edges are still kind of loose. And if I want to, I can go in and I can slip stuff in there, which I might do. I might take some of my snippets and tuck those in behind her to fill up these empty spots, or I may just leave her as is. But as you can see, her little bodice here and our dragonfly's wings are hanging off the edge. So again, probably something that might be way too simple for some of you. All you do, she's oversized. Now that she's glued down, I'm going to go back and I'm just going to snip these pieces off. And like I said, this is probably too simple for some of you. And for those of you that aren't enjoying this part of our little journal making session, you're already gone by now. And so, yeah, but those of you who are new, and I like to be good to the new people, there you go. Okay. And so she fits, the dragonfly fits, and you have a funky little page. I don't know how long this video is. So I'm going to finish off the last 2 pages that I have to finish off. And if the video is falling under an hour, I'll come back and show you those 2 pages. If it's not falling under an hour, I'll finish them off and I'll come back and I'll show you them in a separate video. Maybe we'll tuck in some ephemera, or I have a couple of other ideas for something I want to get done if I have enough time today. Okay, so just in case I don't come back, I'm going to send you lots of love, big hugs, and ask you, for those of you that haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. It helps my channel out a lot. It helps me get noticed more, okay? If you don't want to subscribe, okay, at least like, comment, and possibly share my video. And I know that there was something I was going to show in the description box other than the items that I used. I'll go back. I always have to rewatch my videos because I do have to edit them. I'm not really good at editing, but when I say I'll be right back and I'm coming back and all of that, I have to go in and I have to bring everything together. So that's about the extent of my editing experience. But yeah, lots of love, big hugs. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and have a happy new year. Or I hope you had a happy new year. Be safe. Don't drive drunk. That's the most important thing that I can say. Don't drive drunk. Stay where you are. Make a designated driver. Raising a teen in New York, I've seen they try to scare the kids to not drive drunk. Not scare them, but demonstrate what can happen. And I've seen some of the vehicles that the police save in the impound to bring to the high school to show the kids and teach them not to drive drunk. So don't drive drunk. Call an Uber, call a friend. Be safe. Okay. Happy New Year. And I might come back. And if not, I'll show you the rest of the pages in another video. Take care for now. Love, hugs, like, subscribe, comment. Bye.